So I'm up at Hector Duff's house, and we have got a very special guest from America who has literally come over, Rishi, to talk to Hector, and you've been travelling the world talking to veterans from World War Two. Fascinating to hear your story. And how did you meet?
So my name's Rishi Sharma, and I'm on a mission to meet and film interview 2 to 3 World War II combat veterans every single day until the last one passes away. And I run a non-profit in the U.S. called Heroes of the Second World War. So I travel across the USA, Canada, and the UK and Australia, film interviewing World War II veterans. I met Mr. Duff in Normandy during the 74th anniversary of D-Day, and I noticed he had a desert rat tie on, and that means he saw a lot of action in North Africa, and he also received the military medal, which is the third highest award for valor. And so we instantly became friends, and I asked him, "Can I visit you?" And he said, "Sure."
That's great.
And so I flew over from the U.S. to meet hhim.
And Hector, how many stories have you given him? I know you're filming over a few days, but you're giving him quite a few stories?
Yeah, well, yes, I hope I've given him some interesting stories of my life. I was in several theatres of war, so I have a lot of stories. And as you know, Paul, I relate them, talk them to the school, so they're in my sort of indelibly written in my heart or somewhere, and I've got a fair memory for that. But if you asked me what I had for breakfast today, I probably couldn't tell you.
He's great, isn't he?
Oh, he's amazing.
He remembers so much.
Oh yeah, he's super sharp. I mean, it's just amazing that here I'm talking to someone, I can ask him anything about the past 100 years, and I'll get a first-hand answer as a response.
Now, tell me more about your operation. Where can people see all these videos? Do you have a place, you put them out online, or you're sending them out on DVDs, or what?
So they're all filmed interviews of World War II combat veterans. What I do is I'll meet the veteran, I'll film interview him, put it on a DVD, mail it to him, for him and his family. I also publish them on YouTube under the channel Heroes of the Second World War. And I also donate it to the Smithsonian back in the U.S., which is our national museum.
Why did you have this calling? What made you do it?
Ever since I was a little kid, I've always been interested in World War II. And I just would read books about it. I would watch movies. And when I was in a high school, which is secondary school for you guys, I started riding my bike to the local retirement home. And I started film interviewing the veterans, and I just loved it. I got to the point where I was ditching class to go do interviews because I was learning more from the veterans than I was in school. And so I'm 20, so I haven't been home in 2 years. Ever since I graduated high school, I've been traveling across the US, Canada, and the UK.
That's amazing.
And I've interviewed just over 900 World War II veterans so far. And
you got a long list still out there? Or
yeah. I'm going to interview more veterans in the future than I have interviewed so far.
What do you think to this work?
Well, he's a very good interviewer. Yeah. He's got a very good knowledge of what questions he wants to ask or what answers he wants the person he's interviewed to give him. No, I'm quite very, very pleased and happy with the job he's doing, because I'm totally in agreement that he should. Our memories, not mine in particular, but the memories of the veterans should be made available for future generations.
And for you, it must be a bit of a jigsaw, because you get stories from people maybe in the same theatre of war, and you've heard one version of something, and then you hear another version all the time, putting things together, yeah?
Yeah, it's like a puzzle. I feel every time I interview a combat veteran, it's like a paintbrush on a masterpiece. I get a little bit better of an understanding of what they went through. I mean, it's amazing that, they were kids. They lied about their age, or they changed their birth certificates just to get in the service. They wanted to serve their country. They didn't want to die, but they were willing to. And the fact is, they went overseas and they fought in the worst war in humanity, so that 75 years later, people like you and me could have a chance at life. And our biggest problem is if we have internet connection on our cell phone, right? But his biggest problem, just like all the other veterans, was at my age, is if they were going to get killed, or if their best friends were going to get killed. And yet they came home, and they weren't asking people for any handouts or anything. They just got back, got a job, raised a family. Every single day of their lives has been about helping other people. And it's such an honor and a privilege to be able to document that. And I just hope to be able to meet as many veterans as possible.
And if people watching this want to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
Please, if you know any World War II combat veterans, please reach out. The organization is heroesofthesecondworldwar.org. HEROES of the Second World War, all spelt out, .org. My phone number and my email is on there.
And you'll be traveling for another 2 years at least then?
Oh, I plan to be doing interviews for the next 10 years. Yeah. The youngest World War II veteran is 92.
Yeah.
And with medicine and technology, veterans are living in their hundreds. Past that.
Good. Well, Hector, you're always a shining example. So much information every time we talk to you. And you're going to keep the mission up to talk to the schools, aren't you? You're still going to keep going.
Yes, I'm still talking to the schools. But it's more now got into a sort of a question and answer system, making it a little easier for me. Yeah. I can sit down instead of standing up talking to them all and go through the questions like that. And they're all pertinent and interesting questions, particularly the primary schools. Yeah. Very, very interesting.
How do you think people are going to remember you, Hector? What do you think people will remember you for? Do you think it will be this, or the knowledge you brought to people?
I don't know really, but because I'm involved in quite a few of all the ex-service associations on the island. I'm involved in all that, as well as the several levels committees, the memorial. They probably remember me a lot for the memorial, what I do for the war memorials. I hope they will, anyway.
And I always ask you, what's the secret of the longevity? What was it? What is your secret to this?
Well, do what you like, as often as you like, as often as you can. But
what do you do every night before you go to bed?
Oh, I have a whiskey.
Here we go. See, this is what I wanted, this answer.
At the moment, it's an Irish one.
Yeah, that's the truth.
But my single malts are my favourites. But I always have a glass of whiskey or maybe gin, whiskey or gin every night. Never.
Medicinal purposes only, of course.
Yeah. It's very, very, very good. Helps with the memory, I think, too. It helps you to sleep.